Hello and welcome to Greedy MTG, the world's finest Magic the Gathering YouTube channel created by a 5th grader. Today I'll be doing something different. I'll be watching this video at 2x speed and doing a voiceover. So it's going to be really fast. The problem is Chromatic Cube drafts are usually extremely long, and the games are long, especially drafting is really long. So I'm playing at 2x speed. So it's a really powerful draft format with lots of fixing, lots of 5-color bombs. Some packs even have all rares, but that's not very common. This pack has 3 commons, 2 uncommons, and the rest of it is rares and mythics. Here I'll start by taking a Cruelty of Gix here. It's pretty good, but the problem is when it forces opponent to discard, it forces them to discard creature or planeswalker, and the strongest cards are mostly non-creatures. Okay, this pack is pretty weak for a second pack. There's almost nothing aside from some cheap removal, Touch Spirit Realm and Raid, so I'll just take Isolated Capital for some fixing. I'm going to take this pack's extremely good compared to the last one. I'm going to take a Zealous Conscript, but I accidentally double-clicked here and took an Old Rust Scene, which is extremely sad because that's the first good pack. And Old Rut Scene is just not good at all. I mean, it's not that it's not good at all, but it's just not good enough for Cube, really. So I basically just wasted my third pick. Here there is Overlord Bilmerk, which is pretty good for some value or some fixing. Gwenna's some nice ramp, Enduring Courage can give you some hasty creatures. I just take the Gwenna here for some ramp. And the biggest problem with it, again, here is the biggest bombs are mostly non-creatures, not creatures. Born Oculus here is fine, but it's not great in a draft because you can't cheat out very easily. So there's mainly just a Saint Lenda here, which is pretty strong. Decadent Dragon's also good, but I think Saint Lenda's a lot better. The nice thing about Decadent Dragons, even if your deck doesn't have a lot of bombs, you can still take opponents and play them. But I just took Saint Lenda here for some nice removal, almost. It's like a bomb, but also can get removal and cast it for free. This pack has Exercise, Hedron Archive, and I'll just take that Hedron Archive here for some ramp, because ramp is really nice and useful here, especially Hedron Archive. Because if you can go turn 2 ramp, turn 3 Hedron Archive, turn 4 you'll have 7 mana if you hit every land drop. And 7 is the sweet spot for a draft. Here is a Coma, which is pretty nice. But aside from that, there's also Ether Channeler and Thundertrap Trainer, which are probably better. The best part about Coma is just that it can't be countered and has a huge ward. But Thundertrap Trainer and Ether Channeler are just better because there are less creatures like them, but you'll get a lot of 7-drops and bombs if you want them. So I just took Thundertrap Trainer here to get me the big 7-drop non-creature bombs, and here's part of the Waterfall, which is extremely nice as an extra turn spell. All extra turn spells are good. The only problem with this one is it exiles itself, which is really not good with cards like that, just bringing cards back from graveyard. Here's a Katria Triome, and usually I'll go 5 colors, or I'll try to at least go 5 colors with these cube drafts. Have fun, go over top and ramp really hard. In this pack, there's a Touch of Spirit Realm for cheap removal. There's basically nothing, though. I guess I could take Archmage, but not much. Here, there's a Nissa, but that's not great. I'll just take the Crag here for some fixing and the Meticulous Archive here for some more fixing. Nice thing about these drafts is even if the rest of, it's late in a draft, in normal drafts you'll get awful unplayable cards, but in this type of draft you just take fixing, which is really useful in 5-card decks, which can actually be high picks and you'll still get late. In this pack, there is Tevel and Planar Genesis in Cold Steel Heart, but Planar Genesis is extremely good. It digs really deep for 2 mana instant, and it can ramp you. The Cold Steel Heart's good ramp too, but it's not quite as good as Planar Genesis. The fact that Planar Genesis can dig for your bombs late game and ramp you early game just makes it so good. This pack was Kindred Denial for a counterspell, which is extremely good. Counterspells are busted in cube drafts because you can spend like a little bit on like 5 or less usually to counter a 7-drop or whatever, but there is Roxanne, which is just better here, which I take. This pack was Shackle of Power, which is pretty good, but there's also Into a Royal and Absence Pilgrim, which are both extremely good. Absence Pilgrim's is better, and there's also Tear Asunder, so I just take Absence Pilgrim here. In this pack, there's a Solar Transformer and a Curator, which is really good ramp. They're both really good ramp, but Curator draws 2 card. I take Solar Transformer here just because he can't be killed as easily. In this pack, there is Uro for ramp and Doppelgame for Huge Bomb, which I take because it is amazing. This pack is stupidly good. There's Fountain Port Charmer, one of the biggest bombs in the set. It is super good with Offspring, good 3-drop. And there's a counterspell there too, and another good card, I don't remember what that was. Take a Deserved Beach here. Hard to say everything at 2 times speed, but I'm trying. There is a pretty big weight here, the Fountain Port Charmer, so if you didn't see, it's 1 in green for a 2/3 with 1 mana or Offspring. It says when it enters the battlefield, creatures in your hand perpetually gain the spell cost 1 less cast. So it's really good ramp for creatures, and it can fill out your mana curve here. I'm just taking a couple of lands because they're bad packs. Now I take a Kogla and Yudaro for a big finisher that also can be removal for artifacts and enchantments early game that also draws 2 cards, so it's a 2-for-1, then shuffles into the deck. I already have quite a few really strong playables, but after cutting all the lands, because I've been drafting them pretty highly and I got unlucky in the first pack, I still do not have enough playables, so I hope I get a lot of them in the 3rd pack. Here, there's Into a Royal and Tear Asunder on the wheel. I just take Into a Royal here because bounces are extremely good. Because opponent casts 7-dropping and you spend 2 mana to bounce it. In this pack, there's basically nothing, so I just take a Hurry Heirloom as some really bad ramp, but I'm probably not playing it unless I have to. But I'm at 14 playables right now, and even though they're extremely good playables, that's really low, and that means I'll need to get 9 cards, non-land cards, in the 3rd pack, unless I get something here in the last few picks. Okay, there's a Restless Larry here, and a Lore in the 3rd path. I would just take the Lore in because I need playables, and there are quite a few artifacts and enchantments. Here's Restless Ridgeland, which I take for fixing over nothing. Now I'm down to 8 playables I need to pick, and there's Cavalier of Florence here on the wheel as a not good ramp spell. Here there's a Seba Siphoner, which is amazing, but there's a Spell Swindle, which is one of the best cards in the whole entire set, as a counterspell also ramps you. Plus, just saying, if you ever counter a Coma, even though Coma says can't be countered, you still get the treasures off it. So even though Coma can't be countered by Spell Swindle, it's still worth it to counter it, usually, because you get 7 treasures, and that is immense ramp. I'm just looking at my lands here. Okay, in this pack there is a couple of fixers, a Obelisk for some ramp, but there's also Phyrexian Metamorph, which is what I'm looking at right now as a 3 mana pay 2 life because it has Phyrexian Blue. So it's usually just 3 mana pay 2 life, and it enters as a copy of artifact or creature on the battlefield, so it is amazing because it says just on the battlefield. It could be anything. And in this pack, there's a Scholar of the Lost Trove and Black Market Connections. I just take a Scholar because I can get some really big bombs with it for free, and it's just a 7/5/5 flying. Now there's a Crush of Tentacles here, which is pretty good. It can reset the whole board if you're behind, and you've just been drawing cards, plus it can make a massive creature. In this pack, there's a 3 steps head and a little bit of cheap removal. I just take 3 steps ahead here because, as I said, counter spells are amazing. Okay, here there is a Jeskai Revelation, which is one of the biggest bombs in the set. As I said, a lot of the bombs aren't creatures, so sadly, so you can't get them off, or you can't ramp into it with Gwenna. But super happy to get that one. Super good with Scholar of the Lost Trove. I also just take a land there in the next pack. In this pack, there's nothing but Sage's guys, really, so I just take that as some nice late gain. And on the wheel, there's a Saiba Siphoner, which is extremely good. And I take Unable to Stream my next pack, and then a Black Market Connections. No. Oh, yeah, I take a Champion Blitz in this pack and a Planar Disruption, even though it's not good just for playable. But I have enough playable, so that will actually be my last cut in a second here. So what I ended up doing is I didn't take the Black Market Connections because I didn't have that much ramp for black, and I decided I will just cut black altogether because I didn't have much ramp for black. And it's basically just adding a 5th color for almost no reason. There are 2 good cards I could play, but I only have 1 fixer for it, and it's just not worth the risk. I just cut Planar Disruption here because I forgot to cut it. I just missed it, basically. And the stack's looking pretty good. Just hope I can get some big doppelgains, hopefully. Like, the best thing with doppelgains, you cast some ramp spells, and you cast huge doppelgain, like X3 or something for 11 mana, and then you get a bunch more mana, and then play something like Siphoner, bring it back, and then now you play the doppelgain again, and you can do it for like X5 after ramping with a previous doppelgain. And it will just win you a game on the spot, basically. Leo's Absence Pilgrim, Leo with Surveillance into Forsaking Crossroads, Surveilling a Nicol Bolas. They play Agent Rafine. I have 4 mana this turn, so I can either play the Restless Ridgeline and a Hedron Archive, and a Gwenna, or a Sulphur Falls, or / Plains, or Hedron Archive. They play Davriel, -2, so they accept one of Davriel's conditions, then get one of the offers, so they get something good and something bad. So they get Davriel Plains offers control +2 draw card, which is insane, and I have literally no idea what the condition was. Kind of happened really quickly. I think they lost 7 health or something. Yeah, I think they lost 7 health. I could play Part the Waterfall right now, but it won't do much, so I decided I'll just set up for a better Part the Waterfall, where I could play the Part the Waterfall and immediately just play Siphoner. Or no. Immediately play something else big. I realized that the Part the Waterfall exiles itself. Opponent plays a island, and they play Soulmgar's Command, which is amazing to bounce my Hedron Archive and my Gwenna. I'll just offspring the Thorn Trap Trainer. Look at top 4, get a Planar Genesis, look at top 4, and I somehow whiffed, which is very unfortunate. That might cost me a game here. They draw a card with Davriel. That Davriel is doing a lot of work. They play Eldest Reborn to make me sack 8 Otter, which is totally fine. Then I might just Crush the Tentacles here, but I think I'll just wait till later, do some setting up. Maybe play Planar Genesis here. I think that's probably the best thing to do. Yep, I look at top 4. I could get a Spell Swindle. I think that's just the best. Can't cast it right now, but I think it's the best thing to get to set up for later. And I'll play Hedron Archive and pass. So I discard card. My hand is amazing. I discard Crush Tentacles for some reason. I don't know if that was the best choice ever, but they play Eldest Reborn, or they play a Surgical Metamorph to copy the Eldest Reborn, and sacrifice a Thorn Trap Trainer. They draw an Arcor Davriel up to 8, but luckily it doesn't have an ultimate. Here it's a hard position because when the Eldest Reborn gets last chapter, they'll get back Nicol Bolas, so I just Soul Transformer for some ramp and play part of the Waterfall to get extra turn. Hoping I could draw something. I drew a Scholar of the Lost Trove. So I'm considering playing that here. I basically have to is a problem because of the Eldest Reborn. I just die if Nicol Bolas hits the board. So I decide I tap all my things, play the Scholar of the Lost Trove, get the Crush of Tentacles, bounce everything, and now I just play the Soul Transformer. But I sadly can't leave up Spell Swindle this turn, which is really annoying. They just play Davriel, and they draw a card. Davriel's been doing so much work for opponent. They play Agent of Rafine, and they pass a turn, supposedly leaving up a counterspell, but I have no idea what it actually is. I just pass a turn, leaving up the Spell Swindle. Opponent plays Thundering Pulse and Surveillance 1. Opponent plays Prosper, Tome Bound. I could counter it, but I could hope they tap out for something better. So I just let resolve. They draw, or they activate Davriel again. They get emblem of creatures they control, get +2/+1, and emblem of creatures they control, get -1/-0. So basically, they gave their creatures +1/+0, and they're playing around my Spell Swindle quite well, which is really annoying because I have to leave up Spell Swindle because if I tap out, I'll just die, most likely. Play Hedron Archive and pass turn, leaving up Spell Swindle again. I'm just hoping I can hope they tap out for something huge, Spell Swindle it. They play Shield Dread, and I get Spell Swindle, and they actually didn't have anything, so I have a chance. They used Davriel to make one of my Absence Pilgrim die, and this is my chance. I can cast a humongous Doppelganger, so I play Sundown Pass and Doppelganger for so I have 15 mana. So that means I can Doppelganger for 4, I believe. Yeah, I could Doppelganger for X4, which is absolutely stupid. And then, like, I thought that I'm going to be able to Cyber Siphoner. I do Agent of Rafine, Hedron Archive, and 2 lands, I believe. I should have just done 4 lands, but I was running out of time, so I didn't have time to recast the Doppelganger. So I cast Doppelganger, like, I'm going to win the game. I get so much mana, I play Cyber Siphoner and bring it back and do a huger one, and then they played Remand. And all my hopes and dreams are over. Because I used up 4 treasures for that Doppelganger, and it ended up with nothing. And they play Oracle of Alpha to shuffle Power 9 into my graveyard, or into their deck. And they play Jam, like, it's now or never. I have to play Doppelganger again and just pray super hard that they don't have a counterspell. But now they have 5 mana up, so there's a good chance they do. So I just do Sundown Pass, Hedron Archive, I believe Sundown Pass, and like Forest or Sulfur and Sulfur Falls. And then they play Snapcaster Mage. I say good game and concede because they just bring back Remand and play it again. And that was super frustrating. I would have easily won if they didn't have that Remand. They only had 3 mana up, so chance of them having Counterspell was not very high, but Sometimes you die to remand. Okay, this hand is good. I have Lauren, Sage Disguise, and Sword Transformer. Plus, I have all of my colors. So I lead with Meticulous Archive and keep Thundertrap Trainer. They play a Case of the Lost Witness. That is a good one, because if they solve it, they can basically just draw through a whole deck with it. They play Mountain and pass the turn. I play a Desert Beach and pass the turn, leaving up into a Royal with Kicker. They play Island and pass the turn. I play a Tryout and pass the turn. They try to abrade my Sword Transformer, and this is showing off the power of Into Royale. I kick it and bounce my own Sword Transformer, so it's a 2-for-1, saving my Sword Transformer and letting me draw a card. They play Overlord Flood Pit, so I play a Crag and play a Lauren to blow up their Flood Pits, and play a Solar Transformer to get some energy. Up to 6 energy, so I have infinite color mono with a Sword Transformer. I would just play 8 Island here, attack for 2 and pass the turn, leaving up Jeskai Revelation in case they tap out. They play Flibble Flip to draw a card, and now they will solve this case. I decided I would just go for it, I believe, with this Jeskai Revolution. Yeah, I'm just like, I'll do it. I'll return their land to their hand, deal 4 damage to their face. And they play Rewind to counter it and untap 4 lands, so I was really frustrated, but luckily I had the Score of the Lost Trove if they don't have another counter spell to cast Jeskai Revelation again. And then they play Gale's Redirection to counter the Score of the Lost Trove, and now they can cast it for free later. Plus, they have the Case of the Lost Witness solved, so they could basically play through a whole deck, and I was feeling really bad about myself, because it's almost over. I just activated Lauren because they have Infinite Draw with Case of the Lost Witness, and suddenly I felt like I had a chance, because I drew Part the Warble, which is one of the only cards that could have saved me. But it's still going to be hard, because they could have Counterspell, but I just have to basically go for it. And I was thinking that Counterspell, and I was right, they play Kindred Denial as another Counterspell, and I'm like, I'm probably dead. I can play Sage Disguise though and copy it, which gives me a tiny bit of hope. They play a Flood Farm Burge, and then here's Warcrafting off the top of their deck to kill my Sages of Disguise, and they play Agent of Rafine off the new series Warcrafting, play Fires of Victory off the top of their deck, and going off with Case of the Lost Witness. But then I drew Doppelganger, and that again gave me a chance, because that is one of the only cards that can save me. And then I drew Roxanne, which is the other card that can save me. So I've been feeling really good about myself, got really lucky with my draws, and now I lost Spell Swindle and 3 Steps Head off Thundertrap Trainer. I just took 3 Steps Head because it can ramp me. It can ramp me, counter something, and draw cards. But then the opponent plays Ugin, and, not feeling good about myself again. And they had 3 colorless and played Gilded Lotus and get rid of my Thundertrap Trainer, and, things are not looking so bright for me. Then I play Restless Ridgeline and pass the turn, leaving up this 3 Steps Head for all the modes. I realized then that the opponent's deck has 9 cards in it. So my only chance of winning is milling the opponent out. But it's a good chance, because I have 3 Steps Head to counter their spells. Plus I have Restless Ridgeline to block their creatures if I want to. But I don't want to block Flibble Flip, because I don't want to risk losing a land when I have Doppelganger in hand, and they'll die from drawing out before I die from damage. They're just attacking Flibble Flip. But then they play Magma Opus, and I'm like, that completely changes the clock. I basically just die if that resolves. So I just played 3 steps ahead with all the modes, copying a meteorite so I can kill their Flibble Flip. But then they play Snapcaster Mage off the top of their deck. I'm like, I'm probably dead. They just get Kindred's Denial and they can counter my 3 steps ahead. And I am basically just dead. Can't do anything about it. And they can do 7 damage to me and get me all the way down to 4. And then I realized they just play Score of the Lost Trove. And they play it and I say, good game, I'm about to concede. And then they choose to take a Braid. And then I'm like, what are they thinking? Like, they could just kill me. And like, they're probably flexing that way win, and they play Double Visions off the top of my deck. And they play Electronize. And I realized that they actually killed themselves. So they played Electronize. After I passed the turn, they played Electronize because they thought it'd be copied by Double Visions, but because they cast a counter spell, or they cast a spell earlier in the turn, Electronize doesn't get copied, so I'm at 2 life. And I said good game because I knew that I won the game. And I did a huge doppelganger, copied their Scholar of the Lost Trove to get Jeskai Revelation, get Part the Warful, and get Solar Transformer. And I got 3 Ugin, so Legend Rule. But I get killed their Double Visions by playing Solar Transformer and get 4 4/4s. And I knew the game was over because the opponent tried to act cool by copying their Electronize with their Double Visions, and they lost the game just because of that. And I was like, I can't believe I did that. Like, the chances were so low that the opponent made that mistake. Yeah, they cast a Braid earlier in the turn. I'm like, were they trying to lose? Like, if they didn't play the Sphinx, then I wouldn't have won. Because even if I cast a big doppelganger, it wouldn't have won me a game. I still would have died. But because they cast a Scholar, I was able to copy Jeskai Revelation from my graveyard and like other stuff like Sword Transformer and get extra turn. So I was able to win. Either if they didn't play Scholar of the Lost Trove, I would have won. If they didn't get that, if they actually just got Magma Opus, they would have won. If they didn't play Scholar and they just got Electronize, they would have won because it would have actually got copied. So like, I was feeling so good about myself because suddenly I'm like, is this deck actually going to be able to win? I was so worried it's going to be 0-2. I said good game and it's about to concede. And then I saw they weren't hovering over Magma Opus. I'm like, what? And I'm like, I have a chance. But then I thought the opponent probably just can kill me a different way. And I was so happy I didn't concede there because I was about to concede. But this game, I lead with a Absence Pilgrim on turn 2 after playing a Desert Beach. And it seems pretty good at Port Dwarful, Gwenna, Snow Trap Trainer, Hedron Archive, Lord, and Third Path. Then they play a Thief of Sandy on turn 3, which is a 2/2 flyer. It says when deals combat damage to opponent, excel top 3 cards to your deck. You can choose card and cast it without paying mana cost. Without paying the colors. And I just have no way to deal with it because the one thing my deck is lacking the most is just cheap removal. And I have almost no removal. So I'm like, I'm just going to die to Thief of Sandy. And they said Conquest my Hedron Archive to put me down turn. And then I realized I actually have a chance because I drew Phyrexian Metamorph, which can copy their Thief of Sandy. So I play Hedron Archive here. Tapping my Absence Pilgrim, my Desert Beach, my Island, and my Plains, and I decided to play Gwenna instead of playing Phyrexian Metamorph. And Phyrexian Metamorph I could have played to copy their Thief Sandy and trade, which probably would have been the right choice, but I decided not to. So they have 2 cards from me, and I said I'm just going to play a Part the Warful here, I think. Yeah. Thinking about, I decided to play Part the Warful, get extra turn. But then the opponent played a Spell Swindle from me, which is the worst possible card they could have had, because that means I don't have a spell swindle left in my deck, and they have 6 treasures now, and I don't have an extra turn. So I just play Phyrexian Metamorph and copy their Thief of Sandy so I can actually block this stupid thing and not die to it, drawing through my whole deck and milling me out. And the trade is good, and I'm feeling much better about myself now. I know I won't die to it. They play Frost Titan, which is like the card that gets the most wins that it shouldn't get. And then they play Sage of Skies from me, and it gets copied. I'm feeling bad again, because I'm going to lose my own cards. And I think I just Offspring Thorntrap Trainer here. Yeah. That's what I do. And then I realized I tapped her on. And like, if I get a Planar Genesis, then I can't cast it. And exactly what happened, I got Planar Genesis and Crushed Tentacles, but I can't actually play the Planar Genesis because of the tapper, which got me. They play Mole Drifter here to draw 2 after evoking it. And this is going to be a pretty fast one if I can't do anything about their board. They play Sulfur Falls, and they attack for 10 damage. Tap into my Hedron Archive. I just jump with my 1/1 token Order of Thundertrap Trainer and take 4, and they gain 4. And here I decided I would just crush the Tentacles, because I basically just don't have another choice. And I actually missed out on 3 points of damage. Whoops. Could have attacked first, but whatever. They play Zagoth Triumph, and I have to discard a couple cards. Discard Thorntrap Trainer and a Gwenna, because the Gwenna is probably too slow at this point, and they have Frost Titan for that. And the opponent plays a 1 with the Multiverse. And now I'm like, oh, I'm so screwed. And then it gets worse when they play Nicol Bolas off the top of their deck for free. And I'm like, oh, this is just over. But I know that a game's not over until the opponent kills you. And this is why I made a decision point. I have a couple of choices. One is Doppelganger their Nicol Bolas, but then they'll have, because they plussed it, I won't be able to kill it with a -4, and they'll still have a 1 with the Multiverse even if I could. So I copy their 1 with the Multiverse, and I play a Force off the top of my deck for free, and then I decide I'll play St. Elenda for free. And I can get a Faith Fetters, and then I play that on Nicol Bolas, which makes its activated abilities not able. So basically, instead of killing their 1 with the Multiverse, I can copy it. And I can use St. Elenda, which I cast for free with 1 with the Multiverse, to get rid of their Nicol Bolas. And I gain a 4/4 with the St. Elenda trigger. And I could have worn on third path their 1 with the Multiverse, but then I died to Nicol Bolas. I could have copied their Nicol Bolas, but then they'd have Nicol Bolas and 1 with the Multiverse, so they kill me again with 1 with the Multiverse. I just play a Scholar of the Lost Trove after they remain my first one and get part the waterfall. And then it's basically over from then on. I go my next turn and I play Island. And I can just play the Cyber Siphoner. I first play a Planar Genesis, get a Jeskai Revelation, play that for free to return their 1 with Multiverse through hand, deal 4 damage to their face, and draw 2. And then I play a Cyber Siphoner. I don't know. I think that's what I play. I don't remember clearly. I tap red, green, white. Okay, I'm playing a Roxanne here. And then I will deal 2 damage to their face with the Meteorite. And then I'll attack them for 5 and attack them for 4 with St. Elenda. I gain 4 life after bouncing its Frost Titan and pass turn, get 8/8 because I gained 8 life this turn. The Jeskai Revelation St. Elenda attack. They play 1 with the Multiverse. I just play Cyber Siphoner, and I decide I bring back a Spell Swindle. I brought back a Jeskai Revelation, and then I realized 1 with the Multiverse only works on your turn, not opponents. But luckily, I still have Jeskai Revelation left over. Even though it didn't work how I expected, it still worked, and I had a way bigger board than the opponent. And because of my decision to copy Doppelganger, it worked well. And I was able to kill the opponent. Okay, this hand looks good. I have all my colors, white, blue, red, green, and I can lead with the Meticulous Archive. Definitely keep Roxanne. Plus I have Spell Swindle, and I just drew Roxanne. Opponent plays a Cathar Commando by top deck, possibly best top deck in my deck, Fountain Charmer, which I can offspring, make my Roxanne 3 mana, and my Phyrexian Metamorph 2 mana / 1 mana. So that was an incredibly good draw. Now I can play Roxanne already and pin down their Cathar Commando. Then I could technically play Phyrexian Metamorph, but I don't think I will. I'll just attack for 3. They will block my 1/1 with their Enduring Innocence, and I will pass. From next turn on, I will be able to hold up Spell Swindle and 3 Steps Ahead. They kill my Roxanne, which is sad, but what can you expect? There's water removal. I'll just pass the turn, leaving up Spell Swindle plus the 3 Steps Ahead, 2 modes. They play Lendau, Spell Swindle that for 4 treasures, and now I'm very far ahead in this game. I'll play a island and play this Gwenna, then attack them for 2, and now all I have to do is leave up a counter spell for the rest of the game, because I have a fast enough clock. They can play a Making to kill my Gwenna, which is fine, but they also have to lose 3 life. They play Murderous Rider. That is fine. I don't like it, but it's fine. I drew into a Royal, which is not a bad draw, but I'll just animate the rest of this Ridgeline and attack for 7 damage because it pumps the Fountain Charmer on attack to make it a 4/3, and they don't block. Plus, I'm leaving up 3 Steps Ahead plus into a Royal, so it should just be over. They play Exemplar of Light, sure, that resolves, and they play a Lorna Third Path. I guess I can just 3 Steps Ahead that if I want. Yeah. I think I just 3 Steps Ahead that, draw 2, discard card, and counter it. And I drew Discard Revelation, so if I draw land, it is definitely lethal. Okay, and I did draw land, so now I can pin opponent for 4, bounce blah, and pin opponent for 4, and they are now dead. That is Xaxes. That Fountain Charmer off the top on turn 3 was really clutch. Without it, I might not have been able to win with the opponent's aggressive start curving out 2/3 removal and casting removal on creatures that draw them card. Okay, this hand is pretty good. I sadly don't have white cast Sage's guys, but I have I have 3 of my cards. I just drew another land in Sulfur Forest, but it doesn't add white for Sage's guys. Opponent on turn 2 plays Soul Transformer. Looks like they are a teamer. They play Omen Path Journey. I'll just counter out with 3 Steps Ahead because I don't want them ramping too much and getting too far ahead. I'll just play Hedron Archive now, gain my ramp on. They play Island, and they play Midnight Clock, which is a not great ramp spell. And I drew Roxanne, which is possibly the best draw in the deck. So I think I'll just play that and play Triome. Hope they don't have a counter spell. They don't. So pin opponent for 2, play the Triome and pass the turn. They're pretty far away from the Midnight Clock, so hopefully I can kill them before that happens. I already have 8 mana, so next turn I will be able to, or I guess I have 9 mana, so this turn I can play a forest and part the waterfall with Awaken on a untapped land. I'll just do it on forest because it's not very important. The Roxanne lets my Meteorite tap for 2 mana, so I have 10 mana, enough to make a land a 6/6. Attack with it, I attack Roxanne and the 6/6, deal 2 damage to opponent. I assume they'll trade Roxanne, yep, and they take 6 this turn. I don't have lethal, sadly, though. I'll just sack Hedron Archive on my second turn. I drew a Scholar of the Watch Trove and a Fountain Charmer, but there's nothing for my Scholar except Hedron Archive. I can play Fountain Charmer into a 1 mana Sage of Skies, though, which is pretty nice. And even though I can only get toned down 4, it should definitely be game unless they have a board wipe. Because I have 6/6, 2 or 3 2-power creatures and 1-power creature plus a Scholar of the Lost Trove. But I guess that don't do anything, and opponent scoops it up because they have a way to overcome my insane board. That part of the waterfall really helped me surprise the opponent. Because, for one, they didn't expect extra turn, and even if they did, then probably didn't expect the extra turn plus me getting a 6/6. Okay, this hand is fine. I have Bant colors. I can't cast this Jeskai Revelation, but I've been lucky to draw it so many times. Well, now I can because there's a Triumph on top, which I'll play. On turn 3, I could play Fountain Board Charmer with Offspring, or I could actually just play Planar Genesis I just drew on, and on turn 4, I play Fountain Board Charmer with Offspring and play a Sage Disguise. There's Gwenna, Hedron Archive, and Thunder Trap Trainer, and Island. I think I'll just take Gwenna here, because it works really well with Fountain Board Charmer. So I play Fountain Board Charmer here, and play the Sage Disguise. Fountain Board Charmer's really been busted so far. Next turn, I can play Gwenna, and then when I play Jeskai Revelation, I can play 5 Scholar of the Lost Trove to bring it back. They play Rock Crystal Shaka and attack for 3 damage with Alesha. I will just attack for 4 in the air in game 4. Then I'll play the Gwenna and play the Triumph. Okay, they got some good stuff with Escape to the Wilds, but not much. Okay, they'll just bring back a Rockers Rock. So they have a really big board, so I'll have to start attacking, but I guess I actually just have Coco, so that is lethal, because I just give it Trample and Haste the Rockers Shock, so I can't block, and opponent goes to -1 health. I was able to race them pretty easily, and even if I couldn't kill them, when I play a Jeskai Revelation into a Scholar, it would be over. Okay, this hand has all my colors but white, so I keep on getting hands where I can have all 3 of my colors, but I still can't cast Jeskai Revelation because I always have green. But I have Gwenna and Enable Scream, and now I have white mana with this Hushwood Verge. So I've been getting really lucky, though, to draw Jeskai Revelation so much, and I just drew St. Elenda, though I am pretty far off from casting that. I guess if they can't kill my Gwenna, I can cast it. I'll just play a Sulfur Falls and play Gwenna, but chance they could kill Gwenna is pretty high. They play Price of Fame, which is one of the best removal spells they can have for Gwenna, because it lets them surveil 2. Price of Fame is really good against Gwenna. They play a Karn Cylon of Urza, +1 to reveal top 2. I can exile one of them with a silver counter and put that in their hand. It's really powerful card, and I just drew 3 steps ahead, and I really wish I had that last turn to counter his Karn, and they're destroying a lot of cards with it. I'll give them the Swarm Saboteur instead of the Sire of the 7 Deaths, I believe. Yeah, I think that's right. I don't like the Swarm. Bank 7's just worse for me. They play Swarm. I can't enable Screen that, though. They pass the turn, and I will just play a Island and enable Screen their Swarm Saboteur and leave up 3 steps ahead. Okay, I play a land. They put the Sire into their hand. Play a Enduring Courage. Okay. I will just Kogla Nidara that. It doesn't completely kill it, but I still get a draw card and shuffle Kogla into my deck, so it's still a 2-for-1. Well, sort of a 2-for-1. Sucks to lose it because it's such a good card, but I think it's fine. I drew Part the Waterfall, which is extremely nice. I can either play that right now into playing a Jeskai Revelation, or I could just hold up 3 steps ahead, draw 2, discard 1, counter spell. I think I'll just pass the turn, and then after I counter Sire. So, what I hope they do is they just go for the juicy Sire of the 7 Deaths with haste. And that's what they do. I can counter it, draw 2, discard 1, and then I will be able to play the Part the Waterfall. Okay, I draw 2, and I think I discard St. Elenda, because I'm still 1 white mana off from casting it. Okay, they hit 4-2 with the 2-2 with Karn, and it gets pumped with Thunder and Courage. I drew a plane, so I'm starting to regret my decision, and I'll pass the turn, leaving up to Sky Revolution. They play Perforos. I will just bounce that, deal 4 damage to their Karn, and draw 2, because they haven't activated Karn this turn, and I just don't want to give them a chance. And that was really nice, but hopefully I'll be able to get my Sphinx at some point and get the Disguise Revelation again. I'll just take 8, which hurts, but I think it's what I'll have to do. Now I can play Solar Transformer. I'll play Planar Genesis. I get Spell Swindle off that, which is really nice. I can just play Meticulous Archive and keep the Scholar. That's the Sphinx I'm talking about. And pass turn, leaving up Spell Swindle. I will just chump, Spell Swindle or Perfroze. I will just chump their creatures if they attack with them. So I could keep my life total high, because this Part the Waterfall and Sphinx in the same turn will be really useful. Okay, they attack for a lot of damage. I'll just double block the Restless Fence. Seems nice. And I take 6 down 6, but I will be able to just Sphinx and Part the Waterfall in the same turn, because I have exactly that much mana. And that should be close to game, even though they're at 20. Even if it isn't game, so. Play a Forest. Play a Scholar of Lost Trove. Get back to Sky Revelation. Cast it for free. Deal. Return target spell permanent to owner's hand. Deal 4 damage to their Swarm Saboteur. Or deal 4 damage to their face. What am I saying? I drew Doppelgain, which is really nice. That's probably going to just be lethal. Oh yeah, it's definitely lethal. Attack for 3. They trump with Swarm Saboteur. But now I can play Deserted Beach. And then play Doppelgain, copy a Scholar twice, copy Enduring Courage twice, give it haste. I don't think there isn't really anything in graveyard for a Scholar, but that's fine. This still will probably be lethal. I haven't calculated yet. Yeah, I don't have enough mana for X3, but I do have enough for X2, which will be a lot of damage. And now, to make sure that it is lethal, I will play the Fountain Port Charmer after I'm done resolving his Planar Genesis. I guess I get Kogla. Doesn't really do anything, but now I play Fountain Port Charmer, give it +4/+7 haste, and now I will attack. Oh, that is definitely lethal. Wow. Opponent goes to negative 32 life. That was a lot of damage. Opponent probably did not expect that. I'm now 6-1. Let's see if I could get that 7-0 after losing the first game. Win 7 straight. Hopefully. That'd be really impressive. That first game is so annoying, that Remand. Okay, this hand is good. I will, again, go turn 3 Fountain Port Charmer, which is really good with these Sages guys and Lorns. Sages guy and Lauren. Fountain Port Charmer's been such a all-star from us. I mean, it's just so busted. If I draw a red source, I can play Roxanne into Sages guys, kill their Kiora, and opponent they just concede at that point. Or Birds of Paradise, I guess it's probably better. I actually drew the untapped red source, so I'll play Roxanne. I'll get a Meteorite their Birds of Paradise, and then I'll play Sages guys and copy it. This is so stupid. And then I can attack for 2 with the Fountain Port. Okay, this is actually busted, and opponent concedes, like, for a good reason. They were just not getting back from that. I mean, this deck is stupid. After losing the first game, I was sad, but I won 7 straight, and that shows that this deck was actually really good, even after the first game. Has a lot of ramp, a lot of counter spells, and a lot of really strong top end. See you next time on Greedy MTG.